Looking at week 5, pick 3 games, biggest ones in college football. Let's start with number 7 Kentucky. Yeah, number 7 Kentucky going to number 14 Ole Miss. Ole Miss is currently a 6.5-point favorite. This game will be 11 a.m. on ESPN, and I feel like this is going to be an awesome game. I'm very interested to see what the Ole Miss crowd looks like now that Lane Kiffin has called out the crowd in the student section. So that'll be interesting. But man, I don't think this one's going to be overly complicated, Ted. And sure, Will Levis is going to need to make plays for Kentucky. Jackson Dart going to need to make plays for Ole Miss. That's obvious. But I feel like this game comes down to who can run the rock. And Ole Miss comes into this one averaging 280 yards rushing per game. They got a nice 1-2 punch of Judkins and Evans. And really it comes down, can Kentucky's defense, who's been rock solid to this point, Ted, can they hold up?
Yes, I think they can. We'll see, though. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a big atmosphere. It's kind of funny. Number 7 Kentucky at number 14 Ole Miss. What are we talking about here? This is crazy, but
SEC bias.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kentucky's pretty daggum good. Ole Miss, they've looked good so far, but this is going to be by far their biggest test. I like Kentucky. I think Kentucky is a more well-rounded football team than Ole Miss is right now. Ole Miss's offense obviously has it going on, but I like Kentucky. They've got experience at quarterback. They've got a rock-solid defense, as you mentioned. So I think Kentucky probably pulls this one off, but I don't know. They've got to be able to slow down that running game.
Yeah, and there's a couple other things with this game. We've gotten used to Kentucky's offensive line being a really good group, right? They put a lot of guys in the NFL lately. That offensive line's got to play better, man, because I don't think they've been very good up to this point. And maybe Chris Rodriguez coming back in this game, right? Their star running back, guy that led the SEC in rushing last year. He's back from the suspension in this one. So maybe that's the boost they need. But I know everyone talks about Ole Miss's offense and what they're doing on the ground, but man, Ole Miss's defense, and I know they haven't exactly played the stoutest competition, but they've been playing pretty solid defense. So I kind of like Ole Miss in this game because Lane Kiffin calling the fans out, like that whole thing, but also that defense, I mean, they got some athletes on that defense. They played some pretty good ball up to this point. This is a tough situation that Kentucky's walking into.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah. I don't really.
You're a big Kentucky guy, though.
I am. I feel like they're kind of more one of the old school football teams. But I don't know. I guess I don't want to see. I'm not. I'm Lane Kiffin is entertaining, but I don't know how much success I'm ready to for him to have, like on a big level.
Did you see those helmets they're gonna wear?
No.
It's kind of like almost, I don't know, they're pretty cool. It's like a cloud, almost like blue and white. I don't even know how to describe it. It's pretty cool though.
Yeah. I don't know. It would not shock me if their offense, Ole Miss's offense continues to roll, like I think they'll get the win, but I don't know. I feel like Kentucky just more physical, getting Rodriguez back, ton of experience at quarterback. We'll see though. Should be a great football game.
They're shutting the Grove down at like 6:30 p.m. after the game. I can't imagine the fans are going to be happy about that. We'll see.
What's the reasoning behind that?
I don't know. Drunken stupidity.
Does it usually just continue to go on all well into the night?
I've never been, but I've heard it's supposed to be like the thing, right?
Yeah.
Shutting it down early. Who knows? All right, next game. Number 2, Alabama goes to number 20, Arkansas. This is the 2:30 CBS game. Alabama currently a 17.5-point road favorite. And this game really interests me, Ted. Huge spread. obviously. I expect Arkansas to be a very angry football team. I mean, they've got to be pissed off with how that Texas A&M game ended up. I mean, that was quite the debacle for them. And remember last year, Arkansas gave Bama all they wanted in Tuscaloosa. Now, I'm not expecting Arkansas to win this game, but that spread, I won't lie, it's a little shocking to me. Like, and those guys have to see that and be like, damn, they think we're going to get rolled like that. I know Bama's defense is solid against the run, but Arkansas's running game with Sanders and what KJ Jefferson can do, adding to it, man, it's tough. I mean, it's challenging on defenses, but I think KJ Jefferson, both in the running game and as a passer, bottom line, he's going to have to be at his absolute best to make this one interesting. Like, he's got to be great for them in this game, Ted.
Yeah. No fumbles on the 1 yard line or wherever that was.
The 3 yard line on first down.
Yeah, that's you can't do that and beat Alabama. You can't even do that and beat Texas A&M. So, yeah, I'm with you. I think Alabama wins, but I think the spread that's interesting, isn't it?
It's a huge number.
Huge number with Bama going on the road. It's going to be a huge atmosphere, wild atmosphere. A team that's going to be looking to bounce back. I can't imagine there was any look ahead to this last week from Arkansas, but I don't know. I'm shocked at that line. I think Alabama wins it, but I don't know. I think there's a low percentage chance that they cover the spread, and I could be wrong. Maybe they may go. I don't. Would anyone be surprised if Alabama went and blew them out? No, but I don't know. I don't see it happening.
I think the point you made about the atmosphere is an interesting one, because I would assume Razorback Stadium is going to be absolutely rocking for that game. And we saw, like, Alabama in Austin, that environment affected them, right? They had all those procedure penalties, the defense. Like, remember, Will Anderson just got so frustrated he finally lost his mind, like, momentarily. So I'm interested to see how Bama handles that environment, but I feel pretty confident in this. Bryce Young, that Bama offense, they are going to shred Arkansas secondary. So Arkansas is going to have to punch back, right? Whether and maybe it's Jaden Hazelwood who ends up being the guy, but they're going to have to make some big time plays in the passing game to keep pace, because Bryce Young's probably preparing for this game going, I'm about to throw for 500 on these dudes.
What's Hazelwood's? I haven't even checked in on his stats. How's he doing?
Doing well, right? I think last time I saw it's like 18 catches. I think he's the second leading receiver. I've got it pulled up. Yeah. So 18 catches, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Nice.
So
not bad.
Yeah. He's, he leads them in receptions, right? So, I mean, maybe it's a good decision. Who knows what Levy would have done with him, but I think we can all agree we're cheering for the guy.
Yep. Totally agree.
Okay. Last game. And this is probably the game I'm most interested in, because it's a Big 12 game. Number 9, Oklahoma State goes to Waco to take on number 16, Baylor. This game's 2:30 on Fox. Baylor currently a 2-point favorite at home. I feel like we're going to find out a lot about Oklahoma State's team in this game. It's their first road trip, first good team they've played. And, one thing that's really working at their advantage, man, 2 weeks to prepare, right? Had the bye to get ready for this game. Meanwhile, Baylor was out there battling in Ames against a solid Iowa State team, getting that road win. I do think Oklahoma State's going to struggle to run it against Baylor, because that defensive front from Baylor, they continue to show that is not the way to score points on them. Like, I continue to be impressed by that front seven. So to me, that means Spencer Sanders has to be great. Man, he's got to win this game with his arm. Clearly, he's going to add a lot with his legs, but that's the question. If Spencer Sanders can win it throwing the football, can he do it? And so far, so good for him, Ted. I mean, he's played some really, really good football this season.
Yeah, Baylor's tested at this point. You know, they've played
Yeah.
some
Oh, yeah.
really tough football games. Obviously, they do have the one loss, but you know, Oklahoma State's just they've been able to skate. They've had 3 super easy games. They've had a bye week thrown in there. Just wonder how tested and how ready they actually are for this. But you know, it's almost been like an extended training camp for Oklahoma State. It's been quiet, kind of been behind the scenes, just grinding away, practicing away. So maybe we see a really sharp, efficient looking football team. But I've got to. I think I got to take Baylor. I think it's going to be tight. I'm hoping we see a really good Oklahoma State team, and this is just one of those classic football games. They had a great one last year in the Big 12 championship. I think the difference, though, and you kind of hit on this, is going to be the running game by Baylor. They haven't been able to hit some big home runs like they did last year, but it's still an excellent running game, and I think that's going to be the key to the win.
Yeah, and Blake Shapen, he's going to have to play the way that he did in Ames, right, for the Bears to win this game. He was really good there, but they ran it well enough, efficiently enough to set up the play action stuff, to set up all the boot game. So I think that, you know, I'm interested to see what Oklahoma State's defense looks like, because I feel like we really still don't know a ton about them. And early in the season, some confusion in the back end of that defense. And with everything that Baylor throws at you, right, with all that run action, playing with your eyes, especially at the safety position, like, how does Oklahoma State respond? Like, do they play it well in the back end, or is Baylor able to get some big, deep shots in the passing game? They're going to have them to beat Oklahoma State, because I'll say this, it's kind of fun watching Oklahoma State play with tempo offensively again. Right?
Yeah.
It feels like it just fits, man. Watching them be methodical and run the football all the time last year, I don't know, it was just weird.
Who's the best player in this game? Because last year, I feel like we would have had, obviously they played later in the year. I can't remember what their first game was, but like we would have had some really good options and easier options to pick who the best player in the game was. This year, that's not nearly as defined.
I would say I'm going to give Spencer Sanders credit. I know we're all waiting for it all to just come crashing down, right? With how his career has gone, but he's been really good, man. And then Ikard, man,
yeah.
That dude is a handful at nose for Baylor. Like, he's starting to get some early round NFL draft buzz. Like, he may be Baylor's best player. I love Dylan Doyle too, the backer.
I like Dylan Doyle.
Just he caught another touchdown in Ames.
Oh,
they
wow.
threw boot to him.
Yeah. There's not another player in college football that's really anything like him, you know? And it's going to be hard to get him blocked up at that nose position to get anything going in the running game at all. And, you know, and it's not just for Oklahoma State, that's for anyone. And if he has a big day, who plays center for Oklahoma State?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's the guy. He's 70.
We'll know by the end of the day on Saturday.
No, he's 72, right? It's that guy. I feel like that guy's been there for like 10 years also. Yeah. I feel like his last name's like Wilson or something like, yeah, Preston Wilson, 74. He's young, but he feels like he's been there for forever.
Yeah.
So
give me Baylor though. I think being at home is going to be an advantage for them, and I think it's going to be a tight game though. I expect it to be a really tight game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it could end up being one of the games of the week. I think it's going to come down to the last couple drives in the fourth quarter. I'm kind of leaning Baylor's way because of what you said. Like, they've been in some battles, right? But the fact that Oklahoma State's going to be fresh, they've had 2 weeks to prepare. Like, there's also that, man. I don't know, but I think it's going to be a great football game.
You got to remember, and I like Spencer Sanders, but and maybe this isn't the right way to phrase it. He's a front runner, but he plays really good when he's not under any, not pressure like on the field in the pocket pressure, just like atmospheric pressure. Like when they've got a lead and he's comfortable and he doesn't have to press or be too aggressive, he's fine. When he gets into trouble is whenever he starts trying to make things happen. Whenever it's not there, that's whenever he turns the ball over.
Nice. I thought we were about to get into a discussion about Pascals and pressure per square inch. You said atmospheric pressure. I was like, dude, this is going back to my science days in college. Let's roll. That was really stupid. I'm sorry. I apologize for wasting like 5 seconds of people's lives with that comment. I apologize.
Love it.